You can possess the voice of God. You can look at her like a predator. But if you do not touch her, you will remain just a friend to her forever. Most modern men are terrified of touching women. In our era of new ethics, this fear has literally paralyzed male instincts. You wait for a special signal. You want to ask for permission. You stall, trying to be correct. And while you are overthinking how not to seem intrusive, a guy walks up to her who is not thinking at all. He simply takes her by the waist, and she leaves with him. Why does this happen? Because your words appeal to her reason, to what Carl Jung called the persona, the social mask. But a touch bypasses logic completely. It speaks directly to her body, to her shadow. Until you touch her, to her ancient instincts, you are an asexual entity. You are just a ghost. Today, we will destroy this barrier of physical fear. I will give you a map of her body, 3 zones of escalation. And I will teach you the electric shock technique, which instantly distinguishes a confident man from a clingy admirer. This knowledge borders on manipulation because it works on a biological level. So use it responsibly. If you are ready to learn the truth and cross the line, like this video right now, this will show me that we are on the same wavelength dot. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Because here we discuss things that others are afraid to even whisper about. The main mistake that 90% of men make sounds like this. Can I kiss you? Or can I hug you? Remember this once and for all. Never. Do you hear me? Never ask for permission to touch with words. Let us analyze this through the prism of psychology. In Jung's world, words are logos. This is order, logic, social norms. But sex, attraction, and passion are eros. This is chaos, feeling, and instinct. Logos and eros speak different languages. When you ask, can I? You pull her out of the flow state and force her brain to switch on cold logic. You force her to take responsibility for your action. You are essentially saying, I am afraid to do this. Permit me. This kills attraction instantly because it is the behavior of a child, not a man. A man leader does not ask. He calibrates. Your hands should ask the question, and her body should give the answer. This is the hot stove principle. Imagine you are checking if a stove is hot. You touch it. If it is hot, you pull your hand away. You do not get offended at the stove. You do not argue with it. You simply receive feedback. It is the same with a woman. You touch. If she pulls away slightly or tenses up, you calmly remove your hand. No drama, no apologies. You just take a step back. But if she relaxes or leans in, that is her. Yes, this is the only language her subconscious understands. Asterisk, by the way. I am very interested to know your statistics. Write in the comments. Have you ever asked for permission to kiss? And after that, everything went downhill? Type a plus sign if you have, and a minus sign if you always acted without words. Let us see which group is larger dot. Let us stop here and dissect the scariest word for any man. A word that destroys a reputation faster than a bullet. That word is creep. What is the physical difference between a touch that makes a woman melt and a touch that makes her want to call the police? Many think it is about looks. That if you are Brad Pitt, you can do anything. But if you are an average guy, any touch will be creepy. This is a lie invented by weak men to justify their inaction. Carl Jung would say that this is a projection of their own shadow, their fear of inadequacy. The truth lies not in your appearance, but in the physics of your movement. The secret is in 2 parameters, weight and intention. Let us break down the biology of an insecure touch. When a man is afraid, his body releases cortisol. His muscles enter a state of microtremor. It is an almost imperceptible shake. When such a man tries to touch a woman, his hand moves jerkily. He does not place his hand, he lands it, as if afraid of getting burned. His palm sweats. His fingers are not fixed, and the worst part is that he touches too lightly. Evolutionarily, light, ticklish touches on the skin are associated with insects, with parasites. A spider does not press, it skitters across the skin. A fly does not hit, it tickles. When you stroke her arm barely touching it, her limbic system screams, "Attention! Parasite, brush it off." This causes not arousal, but physiological disgust and a desire to scratch out furthermore. Such a touch broadcasts your internal insecurity. You are essentially saying, "I am not sure if I have the right to be here, so I am ready to pull my hand back in any millisecond." A woman reads this as weakness. And in nature, a female never mates with a weak male because it threatens the survival of her offspring. A dominant man, a man-leader, Jung's king archetype, touches differently. His touch possesses a characteristic we will call gravitational weight. Imagine your hand is filled with lead. It weighs 5 kilograms. When you place your hand on her shoulder, you do not just touch the skin, you affect the muscle, and even the bone beneath it. You ground her. In body therapy, this is called grounding. Women are often in a state of anxiety. Their energy is chaotic. The heavy, warm, confident hand of a man gives them a sense of stability, of support, of a foundation. How to do this technically? Write down the algorithm. First, vector. Your movement must be smooth but inevitable. No sudden jerks. Second, contact. You place the full palm. Not fingertips, not a fist, but a full relaxed but heavy palm. Maximum contact area increases oxytocin production. Third, fixation. This is the most important moment. When you touch, you freeze. You do not start stroking immediately. You just hold your hand there. You let her body get used to your warmth. You claim rights to this space. And finally, exit. You remove your hand as slowly as you placed it. Why is the moment you remove your hand important? This is where the dopamine loop kicks in. While your warm, heavy hand is on her shoulder, her body begins to produce endorphins. She feels cozy and safe. The warmth penetrates the tissues. And suddenly, you remove your hand. Physically, she feels cold in the place where your palm just was. This contrast creates an instant sense of loss, a deficit. Her body unconsciously starts wanting the hand to return. You are not imposing yourself. You are creating a need for you. This is the difference between a master and a novice. A novice is afraid to remove his hand because he is afraid of losing contact. A master knows, to make contact desirable, it must be DOSED. And remember the quote from the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi: "Do not do anything useless." Fussy petting betrays nervousness. Static, heavy pressure betrays power. Women want power. Give her that. Now that you understand how the physics of touch, we move on to the where and when. You cannot just grab her ass or go for a kiss immediately. That is not dominance, that is social suicide. You must pass levels, like in a video game. You must boil the frog, heating the water gradually so she does not jump out. We start with zone 1. This is the green zone or social zone. Location: the outer side of the shoulders. Elbows, forearms, the upper back near the shoulder blades. In the 1960s, anthropologist Edward Hall developed the theory of proxemics, the science of personal space. He identified intimate, personal, social, and public zones. Our task is to move communication from the social zone to the intimate zone without triggering the alarm system. Why shoulders and elbows? Because these are the least sensitive zones. There are fewer nerve endings connected to erotic pleasure, but enough pressure receptors. Touching the elbow is historically and culturally perceived as neutral. It carries no direct sexual threat. That is exactly why it is the perfect Trojan horse. Your goal at this stage is not to arouse her yet. Your goal is desensitization. You must accustom her reptilian brain to the fact of your physical presence. You must become part of her environment. If you do not touch her for the first 30 minutes of a date and then abruptly try to hug her, it is a shock. But if you touched her elbow 15 times in half an hour, a hug becomes a natural progression. How to touch, so it looks accidental but works purposefully? Scenario 1. The navigator. You use touch as a tool of guidance. You are walking through a crowd, entering a cafe, or simply changing locations. You place your hand on her upper back between the shoulder blades and gently nudge. We go that way. Come through. It is more comfortable here. Important nuance. Do not keep your hand there forever. Touch, guide, remove. This shows leadership. You lead, she follows. This is a micromodel of your future relationship. Scenario 2. Attention. Accent. When you are telling a story and get to the funniest or most important moment, you lightly touch her forearm or shoulder and imagine ... Touch with the back of your hand. ... He tells me ... This works as an anchor. You link your words to a tactile sensation. You are telling her, listen to me closely. This is a hypnotic technique. Attention focuses where the touch happens. Scenario 3. Greeting and farewell. Forget contactless greetings. When you meet, you do not just say hi. You either hug if you know each other or touch the shoulder. This establishes the frame we are physical beings from the very first second. If you miss the greeting moment, breaking the wall later will be 10 times harder. Break it immediately. Zone 1 is your safe testing ground. You touch the elbow and watch the reaction. If she flinches, moves away, crosses her arms over her chest, there is no rapport. She is uncomfortable. Do not go further. Return to conversation, build more trust with words, joke, relax the atmosphere. Do not try to break through the defense with force. If there is zero reaction and she continues talking as if nothing happened, this is normal. You are not repulsive, but you do not cause tremors yet. Continue increasing your presence. But if she leans in, smiles, fixes her hair, or touches you back, that is a green light. The dopamine is flowing. The friend or foe system has identified you as a friend. You can move to Zone 2. Remember, Zone 1 is the foundation. You cannot build a roof, sex, if you do not have a foundation, trust. Many guys try to skip this stage, considering it boring. And that is exactly why they get rejected. They try to be lovers without first becoming safe leaders. In the next part, we will cross the safety line. We will enter the zone where a touch ceases to be friendly and becomes a statement. We will talk about Zone 2, the lower back, hair, and hidden signals of the female body that she herself is unaware of. If Zone 1 was about, we are friends, then Zone 2 is a nonverbal statement. I am interested in you as a woman. Here we start blurring the boundaries of personal space. This is a critical moment. Most men get stuck in the friend zone precisely because they stay in Zone 1 forever. They are afraid to take a risk. But as Jung said, where love rules, there is no will to power. And where power predominates, their love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. In seduction, you must find a balance, show power, initiative to create love. Attraction, Zone 2 includes the lower back, hands, and hair. Let us analyze each element with surgical precision. Notice the difference. A hand on the shoulder blade says, go forward, comrade. A hand on the lower back says, I am leading you. The lower back is the anatomical center of gravity of a human. In martial arts, Aikido or Judo, controlling the lower back means controlling the opponent's entire body. In dancing, the partner leads the partner precisely through pressure on this zone. When you place a warm, Heavy palm on the curve of her lower back. You send a powerful signal to her cerebellum, the part of the brain responsible for coordination and movement. You become her external center of balance. You take on the function of her support. This is incredibly attractive to the feminine polarity, which seeks structure and direction in a man. Safety technique: do not lower your hand too low onto the buttocks, that is vulgarity and rushing. Do not hold it too high, that is friendship. Look for exactly that curve where the spine transitions into the pelvis. And remember the pressure. A light touch here tickles and irritates the kidneys. Confident, firm pressure soothes and arouses. A woman's hands are a map of her nervous system. The inner side of the wrist is one of the most erogenous and vulnerable zones. The skin there is thin. Veins come close to the surface. In ancient times, showing the wrist was considered a gesture of submission. You do not need to grab her hand immediately like a schoolboy. Use cunning. The examination method. You have interesting rings, or you have very elegant fingers. You take her hand, bring it closer to your eyes, but not to your lips yet. You examine her hand, lightly stroking her palm with the pad of your thumb. Here, the mirror neuron's principle works. There is a huge number of nerve endings on the palms. By stimulating her palm, you send a signal. Imagine how these fingers will touch other parts of your body. Hair and gaze. The moment of truth. This is the most cinematic and riskiest moment of Zone 2. Among primates, grooming is the highest act of trust and intimacy. When you touch her hair, you hack this evolutionary code. Scenario: you are sitting close. She is telling something emotionally. A strand of hair falls on her face. You do not ask. You do not interrupt her. You silently, slowly raise your hand and tuck that strand behind her ear. And in that moment, your fingers touch her ear and neck for a split second. It is a microshock, but the most important thing here is not the hand. The most important thing is the gaze. In the moment of touch, you must look her straight in the eyes. Not at the hair, not at the lips. In the eyes. This is called stopping time. You create a vacuum. At this moment, she will fall silent. She will lose her train of thought. And here you must calibrate her reaction. Look at her pupils. If the pupils dilated, the Black Lakes effect, it is a release of dopamine and norepinephrine. It is sexual arousal. U1. If the pupils constricted into dots, it is fear or rejection. Remove your hand and make a joke. It is this level of depth and detail that you will find in every one of my breakdowns. I do not give advice on how to be a pickup artist. I explain how human nature works. If this is the approach you are looking for, if you want to understand the rules of the game and not just be a pawn, then now is the perfect moment to subscribe to the channel. Do it before we move to the most dangerous, forbidden zone. We have reached the finale of Escalation. Zone 3. Here, the stakes are maximal. A mistake here will lead to a slap or a complete break of contact. Success here will lead to sex or the deepest emotional attachment. This is the neck and face. Why do? I call this the electric shock technique because touching these zones causes an instant spasm of the diaphragm and an adrenaline release. It is a shock, pleasant, but a shock. Let us return to biology. The neck is the most vulnerable place for any mammal. The carotid arteries, jugular veins, trachea, and vagus nerve pass there. In the wild, a predator grabs the victim by the neck to kill. In a pack, the alpha bites the neck of a female or subdominant to show power. When a woman opens her neck to you, tilts her head back, moves her hair aside, it is an instinctive gesture of submission. I trust you enough to let you near my jugular vein. When you place your hand on the back of her neck, the scruff, under the hair, you activate the most ancient archetype. Your hand grips, does not choke, but fixes. Her neck. A short circuit happens in her brain. Signal 1. Fear. This is dangerous. The neck is vulnerable. Signal 2. Pleasure. He is strong. He controls the situation. The mixture of fear and pleasure is the strongest aphrodisiac in the world. It is what creates the spark. Adrenaline increases the heartbeat. Blood rushes to the face. She feels alive, not how to do it. Only in moments of peak emotional tension. Not at the beginning of a conversation. Only when you have already passed Zone 1 and Zone 2. You place your palm from behind, fingers lightly massaging the base of the skull, thumb resting on the side muscle of the neck. You are essentially holding her head in your hand. Asterisk, the second technique of Zone 3 is the cup. You take her face in your palms, or hold her by the chin and cheekbone with one hand. What is the psychology of this gesture? You physically limit her peripheral vision. You create blinders. Everything. To the left and right, other people, the interior, problems, the phone disappears. Only your face opposite hers remains. This is a gesture of total possessiveness. You are saying, look only at me. Right now, only I exist. Your thumbs can gently stroke her cheekbones or trace the contour of her lips, but not touching the lips themselves, creating tension. This is a prelude to a kiss. But do not rush to kiss. Hold her in this almost kiss state for 3 to 5 seconds. Let the tension become unbearable. Let her reach for you herself. Remember the heavy hand principle. Do not tremble. Hold her face confidently, like a precious cup from which you are about to drink. I intentionally do not emphasize thighs at the beginning because it is cliché. But if you are sitting side by side in a car, at the movies, a hand on the thigh, closer to the knee at first, higher later, is dominance classic. Here, the rule of statics works. Place it and forget it. Do not rub. Do not knead. Just place a heavy hand. Let your warmth burn through the fabric of her dress or jeans. She will not be able to think about anything else but your hand on her leg. This blocks her logical thinking. She does not hear the movie plot. She listens to your hand. Summary of zones. You start with the elbow. With safety. You move to the lower back and hair, to control and attention. You end with the neck and face. Dominance and passion. Violating the order is punishable by exile. Following the order grants victory. But there is one nuance. A global nuance, without which all these techniques are just circus tricks. You can learn the body map. You can train the heavy hand. But if a needy boy lives inside you, she will feel it. Women have X-ray vision for neediness. How to kill neediness in yourself. How to acquire that very king energy that makes these touches natural. About this in our finale. Let us take off the rose-colored glasses. You can do everything technically perfectly. You can use the heavy hand. You can calibrate the moment. But she might still pull away. She might throw off your hand. She might say, "What are you doing?" 99% of men crumble at this moment. They blush, start mumbling apologies, move a meter away, and spend the rest of the date in the hell of their own shame. Their rank drops to 0. Why does this happen? Because they perceive rejection as an evaluation of their personality. She removed my hand. It means I am bad, ugly, a loser. A master perceives rejection as information. Remember the Teflon mind rule. A woman's reaction should not stick to your self-perception. Algorithm of actions during a Kai. Reset, step 1. Full stop. If she removed your hand or recoiled, the worst thing you can do is fuss. Do not twitch. Do not yank your hand away as if you were electrocuted. Freeze for a second. Maintain calm breathing. Your face must not flinch. This is a test of your internal stability. Frame. If you got scared of her reaction, you lost. If you remained calm, you just received data. Asterisk step 2. No apologies. Never say, "Oh, sorry, forgive me. I did not mean to." An apology means you made a mistake. that you did something bad. But touching a woman is not bad. It is natural for a man. By apologizing for your instincts, you castrate yourself in her eyes. Instead of apologies, use cheerful superiority. Step 3. Push-pull technique. If she created distance, you must create even more distance. This is the law of conservation of energy. She removed your hand? Smile calmly, a Mona Lisa smile, barely noticeable, and say, "Wow, we are touchy today." I like when a girl knows her boundaries, or just chuckle and move away from her yourself. You show, "Okay, you are not ready. No problem. I am not offended, but I am withdrawing my attention." You punish her not with aggression, but with the deprivation of your warmth. Paradoxically, this makes her feel guilty and want to return the contact. Women hate when their no does not cause an emotional storm in a man. Your indifference to rejection is the highest form of power. Step 4. Reset. Return to Zone 1, social. Start telling a story. Joke. Pretend nothing happened. After 10 to 15 minutes, when the emotional background levels out, try again. Persistence is not when you hammer at one point without stopping. That is violence. Persistence is when you try, get rejected, wait, change the angle of attack, and try again. Water wears away stone, not by sheer force, but by the frequency of falling. We analyzed physics and tactics. But all this is just a superstructure. The foundation is your state. You can learn all the zones. But if you reek of neediness, a woman will sense it. Neediness is the smell of fear. It is a signal. I need something from you to feel good. How to kill neediness. How to gain that loner superpower. Shadow integration. According to Jung, Jung said, "A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them." Your shadow is your animal aggression. Your desire to dominate, your lust. Nice guys suppress the shadow. They think wanting sex is dirty. Therefore, their touches come out sticky and cowardly. The shadow leaks through the cracks in the form of insecurity. An integrated man accepts his inner beast. He tells himself, "Yes, I want her. Yes, I want to take her." And that is normal. I will not apologize for this. When you accept your lust, your movements become precise and heavy. A woman feels not a maniac, but a man who is in tune with his nature. This gives her a sense of safety. He can control his beast, which means he will protect me. Stoicism and the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Apply this to a date. In your power, your appearance, your words, your touch's physics, weight, zone. Outside your power, her reaction, whether she gives it to you or not, whether she likes you or not. A Stoic focuses only on the process. You execute the best touch you are capable of. And the result? The result belongs to fortune. When you let go of attachment to the result, you become invulnerable. You stop trembling. You enjoy the game, not the prize. The irony is that exactly this state, "I do not care if you give it to me or not, I just like playing with you," arouses women the most. Because this is the position of abundance. The lighthouse principle. Imagine you are a lighthouse. She is the ocean. The ocean can be calm. It can be stormy. Waves, her emotions, tests, winds crash against the rocks. The lighthouse does not run after the waves. The lighthouse does not ask the waves to calm down. The lighthouse simply stands and shines. Your heavy hand on her neck is the beam of the lighthouse. It is a constant. If you start adjusting to her every micro-emotion, you will become a splinter in the ocean. Be a rock. Be a lighthouse. Let her emotions crash against your calmness. Now you have a full arsenal. You know why words kill desire. You know how to turn your hand into an instrument of power using weight and fixation. You know the minefield map. From the safe elbow to the electric neck. You even know how to react to rejection with the smile of an emperor. But there is one thing stronger than any technique. Stronger than any seduction. Stronger than hypnosis. It is the ability to walk away. A woman will never truly love and desire a man she is not afraid of losing. The fear of loss is the spice without which the dish of love is bland. Everything I taught you today will turn to dust if you are dependent on her. If you are afraid of being alone in an empty apartment. True power is when you can place your hand on her neck, feel her trembling with excitement, and remove your hand. Stand up and leave because she violated your boundaries or behaved disrespectfully. The ability to say no to your own desire for the sake of self-respect is what makes you a king. In the next final video of this cycle, we will analyze the nuclear button of male attractiveness. We will talk about the scarcity principle and the power of silence. I will teach you how to make her think about you 24/7 simply by stopping. To impose yourself. Will be harsh. It will require nerves of steel from you, but it will flip your reality if you are ready to stop being a beggar and become the one who is chosen. Press the subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell. YouTube algorithms might hide the next video from you if you do not do this. Do not let the system leave you in ignorance. And write in the comments, which of the three zones, social, personal, forbidden, seems the most difficult for you to master? I read everything. Remember, your hands are not a request. They are an offer that is impossible to refuse. Take action.